Traditionally, revolutions are against governments, but with the rise of major new tech companies, we've had to coin a new phrase, Techlash. Kira, jump in, because when we talk about Techlash and some of these big concepts, it feels like a very Western discussion. Is that true?
Well, I think you hit exactly on the right point, because for me, Techlash is actually a weakness of the Western system and the advantage that China has in implementing AI and technology. Because there are very few concerns about privacy in China, about AI and about data collection. And if you think about the future, that is the way of the future. It's an illusion to even think of privacy. You know, anybody can take a picture here, put it on a social network. We don't have privacy anymore. You know, we can put data protections around it, but we cannot let people stop from taking pictures of us and putting their opinions of us. So fundamentally, I think China is in a much stronger position to implement AI, to collect data, to have everything in the cloud. And I think this, I would call it liberal approach to data in Europe is something that's going to slow Europe down in the competitive AI technology race.
How does Russia feel about privacy?
I think we are closer to Chinese model. And I think that we are realistic that, of course, you know, some privacy is important. But we have to think about 20, 30 years from now, how will it be? And I think at that time, having clouds with lots of data in them is a fundamental aspect of being strong in AI.
This notion that let's give up on data privacy and let's have everybody know everything about, you know, whatever they'd like to know, have political campaigns being influenced by, you know, foreign actors, you know, have business models that are feeding and making money based on the provision of free data that consumers aren't aware of that they're even providing, I don't think will be a sustainable model. And you are right, in a more totalitarian regimes, of course you can put the hammer down and say, look, this is the way it's going to be. But I think, you know, the capitalist system has worked excessively well in creating great wealth and great growth for a long time. And it has really been the winning model in terms of doing that for as many people as possible. It doesn't mean it's perfect, but certainly I think that there are certain guardrails that, you know, we will have to manage as a society, because otherwise individuals eventually are going to turn and realize what is going to happen. So, you know, the idea that we'll just let it free and let this whole play out without some ideas around a framework that is going to benefit all citizens and that they are aware of what is going on with the data, I think is going to be extremely important. Insurance companies will be able to know who's likely to live longer and who's got, you know, the likelihood of diseases. Does that mean they're going to be paying higher premiums? Do we as consumers think that that's okay? I can personally think about a lot of things that I would not feel good about being an unfettered access to my data. So, you know, I understand that, you know, in certain regimes and on certain systems, you can impose whatever you want and have it driven through and the population will not react. I know that that's certainly not the case in Europe nor in our American system, because their individuals and the people have a view, and that view eventually will come to the fore and will need to be respected and reflected in the framework of the overall global order and how we help them lead meaningful and sustainable lives and find great employment.
So one prediction and one example. So one prediction, I think excessive focus on data protection will slow down Europe versus China in technology race. And one example about data is that it's a very gray area. So for example, in China, there are lots of startups that predict your you know, failure rate as a borrower based on how fast you type, based on how many applications you have on your iPhone, and frankly, what's the pause between different letters you do. Now, is that a privacy data or is that not a privacy data? Is it allowed or is it not allowed? And basically, algorithms that use it are, you know, 20, 30% more effective in predicting whether you're fraud or not. So it's not about, you know, fundamental data. It's about great data that Europe would sort of be very cautious about, and China would say, let's use it, it's okay.